Are we in the middle of a recession? The first reading of Q1 GDP showed a decrease of 0.3%. A recession is generally defined as 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP. So some may argue we are halfway there. Let us not forget, in 2022, we did see 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP as Q1 declined 1.4% and Q2 showed an advanced estimate that was down 0.9%. There's actually 3 estimates that come out. After further research, the second quarter ended up seeing a total reversal and is now reported to have actually grown by 0.3%. Even with a difficult start, that year ended with a 2.1% growth rate. We also can't forget that the National Bureau of Economic Research makes the official call on recession, and they use a broader set of indicators that led them not to declare a recession in 2022. I say all this because I still believe, even if we hit a technical recession, if employment remains strong, I don't believe we would have an official recession. I'm still unsure that we will even see Q2 GDP decline, and we could see revisions to Q1 that lift it to a positive reading. I say this because if you look at the actual underlying numbers in the report, it's not nearly as bad as a headline decline. On the positive front, consumer spending actually grew 1.8% in the quarter, as services, well, they showed a nice increase of 2.4%. Also, private domestic investment saw a surge of 21.9%. This was led by investments in equipment as they grew 22.5% in the quarter. Well, now you might be asking, with these numbers like these, how did we see a negative GDP? Well, to start, government spending fell 1.4% in the quarter, and this was led by a decline of 5.1% in spending by the federal government. The group, as a whole, ended up subtracting 0.25% from the headline GDP number. While this was impactful, the real reason for the decline in GDP was trade. Companies were trying to get ahead of looming tariffs, and imports, they surged by 41.3%. This compared to an increase of just 1.8% for exports. The huge discrepancy caused a trade component of GDP to decrease the headline number by 4.83%. While the economy is no doubt digesting these trade conversations and the tariffs, I still believe the economy is in an all right shape when you look at the underlying numbers. I did also want to mention more good news on inflation, as the March headline PCE showed an increase of 2.3%, which compares to last month's reading of 2.7%, and core PCE, well, that came in at just 2.6%, which was a nice decline from February's reading of 3%. I believe these numbers will likely increase with the tariffs, but underlying inflation looks to be quite healthy. I'm Brent Wilsey with Wilsey Asset Management. If you like these videos, be sure to give it a like or comment, and feel free to check out our other YouTube videos, weekly newsletter for the latest economic news, expert analysis, and market insights.